Which one? Okay, gentlemen, would you take off your hats? And I want this booklet on your desk, right here. If you don't have this booklet, you can write the information I give you on the back of the cocaine one. And I'd also like you to have these two, cocaine and crack. If you don't have them, you can bring them with you tomorrow. But the information I give you, again, you can write it on the back of a sheet. Okay? Patricia. Do that until tomorrow. I'll explain this. Okay? We all set? Pat? Wilfredo? Okay, before we get started, I want to go over two things. Frank, would you take your hat off, please? Thank you. Let's talk about your project. I have most of your projects over there, which I will get back to you at the end of the period. And I want to explain to you how I graded them. If you have a question about your grade, you want to negotiate, come back and we will. What you were supposed to do is take your name, write it down the side of the paper for us somehow, and then use each letter of your name to come up with a good, positive, descriptive word about yourself. Some of your posters, your projects were excellent. Some of the things I received were superb. Some of them were good, not quite superb, but good. Some of them were okay, and then there were none, you know, because there's always some. How did I grade them? 35 points was for your descriptive word. Now, I told you that's 35 points. Words should have been positive. So if you had all your words and all of your words were positive, you got 35 points. Bingo. Some of you used negative words, and that cost you. Some of you also had horrible spelling, and that cost you. Write the word correctly, okay? So that was the first thing. Then you got 35 points for creativity. Now, I told you, do something creative with it. I know some of you are not artsy people. Some of you can't draw. I can't draw. You know that. So you don't have to do beautiful artistic work. But you could have cut pictures out of magazines or newspapers, or you could have drawn, even if you drew little flowers on there, as some people did, whatever, to make it colorful. That got you 35 points. In all, I'd say probably out of 200 projects, maybe 6 or 8 of them were very artistic. Obviously, people were very talented. But the rest of them were not. It was just a matter of people taking some really nice pictures, cutting them out, putting them on neatly, newspaper comments, etc. You almost organized here? Okay, get settled, okay? That was 35 points. 25 points was neatness. You know, when you wrote your things, were they straight? Were they orderly? Or did you kind of write up and down all over the place? That was important. And the last 5 points, the other, is you got 5 points if you did it. So if you did it, you automatically started off with those 5 points. And I will give them back to you at the end. It's worth a test grade. Like I said, the majority of the ones that came through here were very, very nicely done. And I was very, very impressed. I think they were excellent. Second thing is the extra credit. Somebody, by the way, did an extra credit assignment, put it on a white sheet of paper, OTAG, but didn't put a name on it, so I have no idea whose paper it is. So if you did one of those, you might want to check with me at the end. You had 2 extra credit assignments. The first extra credit assignment was cleaning out the medicine cabinet, and that was worth 2 points added onto your grade. The articles was worth 3 points. So if you did, and you may say, well, that's all, but here's what happens. If you did the 2 extra credit assignments, and they were done fairly well, and most anyone who did them got the credit, that is 5 points I will add on to your term grade. So if your average at the end of the term is a 75, which is a C, and you did those 2 things, you just got yourself a B. And that's almost like giving you a grade. So a lot of you did the extra credit assignments, and that was good. Okay? Any questions on that? Well, that was due last week. That's where we had to find 3 articles in the newspaper and then write a summary. Just read the article and then write the summary. So that's the assignment. That was the extra credit. This is the assignment. I'm going to talk about that now. Now, the project that's due tomorrow. But I will give you an extension. You may hand it in on Monday. If you've done it and you want to hand it in now, fine. Otherwise, you can hand it in Monday. Remember, I had given you the sheet that looks like this with all the assignments in it. And you have this sheet right here. Everybody look familiar? Vaguely? Good. Okay. You have 6 different advertising techniques. Bandwagon, where they say everybody is doing it. Or a testimonial when they say, Joe Montana says use this, where they take an important person. Guess I shouldn't use Joe Montana anymore because he's kind of out of the picture now, right, guys? Jim Kelly said of that. He's still in the picture. Jim Kelly says, use this, all right? That's a testimonial where they take an important person and that person says, use this product. Or if they say, they use a product like Pepsi and they show a group of people having fun, that's one of the techniques. So you find 3 advertisements on anything in a newspaper and a magazine, cut them out neatly, put them on a piece of paper. You can use white line paper on the front and then on the back. Just write which technique you think is being used. Or if it's a small advertisement, put it up on top and then on the bottom. You don't have to write me a 5-page paper. I don't want a 5-page paper. Just cut out the advertisement in 2 or 3 lines, write which technique here you think they're trying to use, and explain that. Any questions? That explain any questions? Anyone else? Now this was due tomorrow. I will give you till Monday. If you have it done tomorrow, hand it in. Otherwise, all set. Okay? All right. Now, if you open your booklet to page 21. One of you, any 3. So if you've got one advertisement, figure out which technique, and then you're all set. Okay? On page 21, what I'd like us to do today is finish up with the Hate Fool booklet, finish up talking about why people do drugs, and use this to refer back to the videotape we saw last week. Or the videotape I saw, I'm not sure what some of you were watching. Because some of your answers, I don't think we saw the same tape. But that's okay. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the second part of this booklet, and then we'll go on to cocaine. If we get through as much as I'd like to get through today, and I'll let you know at the end of the period, I have a full period tape for you tomorrow on cocaine, which I think you'll enjoy seeing. It had been an after-school special. But we have to get through quite a bit today, right? On page 21, we've already gone through page 21. We had gone through each section. Look over your booklets, and we talked about the different reasons why people use drugs. Notice we have them categorized into emotional reasons, physical reasons, social reasons, and the intellectual reasons. And we had picked out in each category what we thought were key reasons why people did the drugs. We did that the last time. Now I'd like to talk about the videotape. Remember the 3 people in the videotape? Felipe? Yeah. Okay. The drunk driving. Jill, using the cocaine at the party. And the little kid, Eddie, using what? What drug did he use? Crack. If you can think back, what were the reasons that those people did the drugs? Think back to, and I know this was last class, it was last week, but think back to Felipe. Remember he was out in his yard shooting the basketballs with his friends, and they got in the car and they drove off, and we know they died in a drunk driving accident. Can you remember what he gave? What were some of the reasons he was using the alcohol? And they were also using pot. Think back to what they said. They said some real clear things. Good. Right?
He said that because he's going to college and everyone's doing it.
Excellent.
At college.
Excellent. His exact words, well, I'm going to college and all the boys and girls in college do it. That was one of his reasons. He was saying it's okay for me to do because everybody else is doing it. Terrific. Jeff.
Father uses it?
Right. Do you remember exactly how he said that?
My father does it?
He didn't say my father.
If my old man can do it.
Yes, my old man can do it. I can do it. Exactly. So he used that as a reason for doing drugs. Another one. For fun. Why was he drinking in the first place? Because he made the winning shot in the game. He was celebrating the fact that he had just won the ball game for his team. Celebration. His father was a drinker. All the kids in college did it. What were some of the other reasons you think he continued to drink?
To show off.
To show off for whom?
His friend.
Right, his friend, the other kid, and I don't know if the other kid was his brother or the other kid's brother or whatever, the other 2. But why else do you think he continued to use it? As they drank and they went on, remember they got in the car and they were in the yard, how were they acting?
Stupid.
Right, and?
No.
Okay, real happy, silly, giddy, stupid, etc. Do you think he liked the feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. When people drink, and I know you don't, but when you're at parties and you're watching all these other kids drink and they're all acting silly and stupid, I know you all stand back and go, look how stupid they are, right? How many of you know people who drink more because they don't like acting silly and stupid? How many of you have been to these parties where you've seen people act like that? And the more I
Okay.